guys! In this episode, we will look at some cultural terms and 10 tips of Go to help us better understand this intellectual sport. First, the most important term is Weiqi, which is Go in English. The pinyin way of saying Weiqi is an excellent method of expressing it as the essence of ancient China. Next, we have 手谈, the hand talk in English, which is another name for Weiqi. 知顿, an eminent monk in Jin Dynasty, called Weiqi 手谈, or hand talk. In Wei, Jin, southern and northern dynasties, there were actually many other names for Weiqi, but the hand talk was recorded in 世说新语. Earl Wang took Weiqi as setting in seclusion, while Mr. Zhi took it as the hand talk. Playing Weiqi is thus seen as a kind of silent conversation where two players are able to understand mutually and achieve a kind of a communication. After introducing those cultural terms to you, I will further share with you the 10 tips of Weiqi. The first tip of the 10 tips of Weiqi is 不得贪胜, not greedy for victory. The player should know how far to go, and we should not take unreasonable moves. Psychologically, if a player is eager to defeat the opponent, it is more likely for him or her to review their own weaknesses, being caught, and then lose. This tip is in line with the doctrine of the middle course, and emphasizes the importance of a calm and unperturbed mindset. The second tip of Weiqi is 入界以缓, move cautiously into contested areas. After a player enters the opponent's area, he or she needs to move slowly and carefully instead of going too far. At the same time, he or she should also pay attention to connection problems to avoid being caught up in a crisis. Move and invade properly, limit the influence of the opponent into a certain range, and wait for the opportunity to move. This is also an advanced strategy of Weiqi to stay quiet first and then strike back. The third of the 10 tips is 攻比固我, defending carefully while starting an attack. When attacking the opponent's weak spot, the attacker must also pay attention to his or her own stones and safety. Otherwise, after the opponent escapes or recovers, the counterattack will be conducted and the loss will be suffered. The fourth tip is 弃子争先, sacrifice to take the lead. Do not lose senti because of minor problems. Sacrifice some stones to take the lead and to get the senti and fight for the greatest interest of the entire game. As it is said in the classic of Weiqi in 13 chapters, one would rather sacrifice several stones than losing senti. The fifth tip, 舍小就大, discard small, save big. We should discard positions with minor values and choose positions with greater value. Take every move based on comprehensive consideration. This is of great benefit in improving the bigger picture and one's judgment. The value of Weiqi is the priority in the consideration of making moves. The sixth of the 10 tips is 逢危须弃, abandon stones at risk. When the situation is unfavorable and one's stones are in a dangerous circumstance, just escape might increase the number of dead stones eventually or cause the opponent to gain more territory through killing. In this case, the player should give up in time. The earlier he or she gives up, the smaller loss will be. As mentioned in the classic of Weiqi in 13 chapters, a person who is good at giving up will usually not end up in chaos. Abandonment could also be interpreted as moving, turning, and converting. The 7th tip is 慎勿倾诉. Don't be careless and hasty. This refers to the attitude towards the game. It is necessary to pay attention to the opponent, be cautious and conscientious. The game should not be played by subjective will, but based on the development of influence and careful and rigid calculation. 8th tip, 动虚相应. Keep stones talking to each other. When playing Weiqi, a holistic point of view should be held. The overall situation comes as first priority. The moves need to coordinate with the general trend and try to get support from surrounding stones. 9th tip, 比强自保. Be moderate when competing with a strong opponent. In areas where the opponent's influence is strong, unreasonable challenges will only lead to troubles. In this case, one should seek stability as soon as possible. Players should retreat according to the needs of the overall situation and try to strike back later. Based on different scenarios, appropriate self-protection measures should be taken. 10th and last tip, 事孤求和. Seek for peace in adverse situations. If a player's power is weak and the opponent's power is strong, it is better to adopt a flexible and moderate strategy. If the player is already in an unfavorable situation, a forced fight will obviously lead to failure, and seeking parity is a more appropriate strategy. Aside from those 10 tips of Weiqi that I've introduced, there is yet another common and important term called 一招不慎, 满盘皆输. A careless move may lead to the entire loss of the whole game. It means that at the decision-making moment, a key mistake is made, which leads to the loss of the entire game. This is also applicable in our lives. This is the end of all 5 episodes of Culture of Go. Bye!